Hi, everyone. We'll be getting started very shortly. Hi, everyone. We're going to be getting started very shortly. We are just about getting ready to get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to our Campfire chat featuring teen summer programs. I'm going to ask all our panelists to join us right now on the screen. Terrific. Thanks, everybody. I think we're waiting for one more guest. Okay, here they are. I'm Tracy Levine of One Happy Camper, New Jersey, a Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West. We are the hub for Jewish camp and summer programs here in the Greater Metro West, New Jersey area. We are excited to be hosting Campfire chats with top camps and summer programs. And I'm really excited for this session tonight, focused on teen summer programs, and that so many of you are joining us and thinking about summer. I know some of you are from our local community. I know we have folks joining us from all over, and we are really thrilled for that. And so we welcome all of you. I am joined tonight by 5 wonderful colleagues who run a really amazing array of teen programs. Marnie Heller of BBYO Passport, Alana Picker of Yala Israel, which was formerly the NIFTY summer programs, Michelle Rich of USY travel programs, Anat Balfour of Hetz V'Keshet, and Rabbi Dr. Noam Weinberg of NCSY summer. So I think you'll agree, we've got a really great array of programs here. A couple of logistics before we get started. First is it's a webinar. So you see us, but we don't see you. However, this is definitely intended to be interactive. So you can note your questions in the chat and in the Q&A section, which we'll be monitoring. We will be presenting for about 30 minutes, and then we will have some time for some open Q&A later on. In terms of the agenda of our program, I'm going to give a brief overview of the different types of teen summer programs that are out there. And each presenter will then give an overview of what makes their unique programs so special. We'll discuss a couple of key common questions that we hear about teen summer programs. I will then share some info about financial resources, and then we'll go to the Q&A that I mentioned. So over the past 12 years, I have helped guide hundreds, maybe thousands of families on choosing a Jewish summer program and seen the amazing benefits. If you've already been to camp, a Jewish teen summer program is a very logical next step. And if you've never been to camp, what a great time to have a Jewish summer experience. I mean, I have seen that teens that even have just one trip, one program, one experience, it really makes such an interest in terms of meeting new friends, stoking new interests, connecting Judaism in fun ways. And as you'll hear, there's a really amazing array of programs. And I honestly wish I was a teen again, because I wish I could go on a lot of these programs. So first, to just share briefly the categories of programs for teens, Jewish summer programs. There are an amazing array of camp programs. There are teen leadership camps. There are specialty camps. In fact, we recently hosted a separate Campfire chat talking all about awesome specialty camps. And we can share that link with you in the chats. And a whole bunch of, as I mentioned, leadership, very teen specific camps. Working at camp. Kids entering 11th grade and up are age eligible to work at day camps, and those graduating high school and older are eligible to work at overnight camps. We are very happy to help connect teens, and college students interested in working at camp with staff opportunities. And later this week, we have a really exciting announcement coming about a new Camp Staff Teen Fellowship, which also includes some very special opportunities for teens that have never had the chance to go to Jewish camp, including a special stipend. So definitely contact me if you are interested in that. And then we get to a very wide array of teen travel programs. General travel, adventure, service-oriented, interest-focused trips. And a lot of our focus tonight will be in the travel space. However, we will also talk to some other leadership and camp programs as well. And I want to mention that those travel programs include the US, Israel, and all around the world. There are also, I want to make sure to share, so many wonderful Jewish summer programs. So I love the presenters we have here tonight. And at the same time, please keep in mind, this is just a sampling of the many programs there are out there. And we will share some resources with you a little bit later of where you can see an even greater array of summer programs. So we are now going to kick it off with a quick overview from each of our panelists about their organization and their unique programs. So we are going to start with Marnie and BBYO.
Good evening. My name is Marnie Heller, and I come to you from New York City. I am the Associate Vice President of BBYO Passport, which just really means that I oversee everything from the minute your teen registers for a program until they get off the plane after having an amazing experience. BBYO Passport is part of the larger BBYO organization, and we are a Jewish youth organization. We are pluralistic, and our mission is more Jewish teens, more meaningful Jewish experiences. So to create these meaningful Jewish experiences, we have created programs, Israel programs. We leave every week for 8 weeks, for 3 weeks in Israel. You can go to Europe. You can go to Europe and Israel. You can go to the Americas, which is really just our Pacific West, where you can go hiking and visit all of the national parks. We go to Costa Rica, Ecuador, and many, many other locations. Everything can be found on our website, which is bbYOpassport.org. We service teens from 8th grade through 12th. We have senior-only trips this year for Israel and for Central Europe, which our senior trips can get the Route 1 voucher. And that's it. I have much more to say, but I'm sure that'll all come up in our great Q&A later. Thank you for having us, Tracy. So happy to be here.
Great. Thanks so much for kicking us off. Okay, Alana, we're going to go over to you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Alana Picker. I'm the Assistant Director for Yala Israel, formerly known as NIFTY in Israel. I'm based in Summit, New Jersey, so in the Metro West area. So for 65 years, let me share my screen before I forget. For 65 years, Yala Israel, again, formerly known as NIFTY in Israel, has provided trips for teens seeking an authentic Jewish summer experience. Our approach to Israel education is through a Reform Jewish lens, as we are a program of the Union for Reform Judaism. But we're more than just a trip. We are a cultural exchange where teens will be able to explore our communal history while building their own traveling community. So this summer, we are offering 4 unique trips that range from 3 to 5 weeks. Our Lador Vador program includes a meaningful 1-week journey in Poland that deepens your understanding of the most challenging period in our collective history before making the flight to Israel for the remaining 4 weeks of the program. Then it goes into our adventure program, which is the 4-week Israel program. It is your classic Israel experience. We visit all of the iconic sites, including the Western Wall, Masada, the Old City of Jerusalem, modern Tel Aviv, the Dead Sea, and so much more. Eden Israel Experience is a brand new program that we're running for the first time this summer. It has an eco and social justice lens where you'll learn about sustainable agriculture and ecotourism, dive into social justice, and meet with many different diverse communities throughout Israel. And finally, SciTech Israel is our hands-on learning experience where you learn about Israel as the startup nation, meet with scientists and engineers, and learn about the latest Israeli technologies. So if you're interested in STEM, this would be a great option for you. So we really try to offer a trip for everyone, depending on what your interests are. So Yalla, let's go on the adventure of a lifetime. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alana. Wow, this is really making me ready for summer. Michelle, USY, let's hear about what you've got coming up.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm Michelle Rich. I'm Director of Teen Travel and International Engagement for USY. USY is affiliated with the Conservative Movement of Judaism. For more than 60 years, we've had summer experiences both here in North America, Europe, and Israel for current 7th to 12th graders. We run programs that basically teach you how to create community, no matter where you are in the world, and enhance your Jewish identity and see fun, unique, and exciting places with your peers. Our cross-country bus trips range from 3 weeks to 6.5 weeks. And we have a special bus for current 7th and 8th graders for a 4-week journey. They do everything from national parks to Disneyland or Universal, visiting many states along the way. So if you're into collecting states and seeing all sorts of unique places, USY on Wheels is a wonderful opportunity. Each group has some component of community service, often meeting up with people who create organizations or run stores to further their cause. We spend each night in a hotel, have our own coach buses, and really learn to build community on a bus and observe Shabbat as a community. We do have a unique community service project called DREAM, which is for current 9th to 12th graders, and that's a 10-day trip to volunteer in the Dominican Republic. Our Israel and Europe trips are for current 10th to 12th graders. We travel to the Czech Republic, Berlin, Poland, and then go on to Israel. We are recipients of Route 1 vouchers, and we can help you earn $3,000 off your trip. You get to see beautiful countries, learn about cultures, visit sites, and learn their connection to Judaism. In Israel, like most other groups, we spend time in Jerusalem, we ride camels, climb Masada, rappel in Mitzvah Ramon, and float in the Dead Sea. We travel the country learning about history, sites, and people while eating amazing foods and visiting ancient as well as modern sites. Regardless of the trip that you choose, the most engaging part is making friends that last a lifetime. And our trips are open to participants from all over North America and Israel, so you get a good mix of people on each trip. Lastly, in addition to Route 1 for our North America trips, we are recipients of One Happy Camper. And we also have need-based scholarships for anybody with financial need. You can check everything out with details at www.usy.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. So many options. Okay, Anat, you've got something very unique. You're on mute.
Okay, good evening,
There you are.
everyone.
Great.
I'm Anat. I'm the Chetz V'Keshet director here in the US. Chetz V'Keshet program belong to the Friends of Israel Scouts that definitely has all the tribes, all the Israeli tribes in the US. Chetz V'Keshet exists already 40 years. It was belong originally to the IDF. In the last decade, it's belonged to the Friends of Israel Scouts. And we have a 40 years anniversary this year. Why Chetz V'Keshet? Why Chetz V'Keshet is so unique? So Chetz V'Keshet goal is to show the American, Canadian teens that coming from the US that Israel, beside of, all beautiful Israel, is how to be an Israeli and what does it like to be an Israeli. And how do we do it? We do it in a few ways. First, we have Israeli staff. We have terrific trained Israeli staff, tour guide, counselors, everyone, of course, the university, the army, and raised and born in Israel. And they have amazing knowledge about the country and about the society of Israel. Hebrew speaking, we're going to have this year also English speaking groups and also Hebrew speaking group to whoever wants to improve his language. And of course, because all this stuff is so Israeli, so the teens gains tons of their Hebrew language. Beside of that, we have Israeli participants. We're going to have over 40 Israeli teen participants that we nominate them this year, and they're going to be integrated to the whole group of us. So it means that actually the American teens that come from the US actually meeting Israeli teens and they getting bond. And you can imagine that we already have this year 15 teens that their parents did themselves CVK and having like Israeli friends that they come and visit once in a few years. Beside of that, we have the Gadna Week, which is an army experience. For the whole week, they're going to be in the south of Israel, in Sde Boker, and actually the whole week they're going to be with commanders and soldiers and get a better understanding about how is it to be a soldiers in Israel, what is army in Israel, how do we defend ourselves, and all that becoming to a real experience of getting to know Israel and get a better understanding once they accomplish the program. The program is for teens entering 10 to 12. Of course, we also have a Route 1 vouchers and a scholarship need base. Yalla CVK.
Awesome. Thanks, Anat. Toda rabah. Noam, let's hear about NCSY Summer. I know you've got a really wide array of options.
We do. Thank you very much. First of all, it's a pleasure to, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You are good.
Pleasure to sit on this panel with these esteemed guests and colleagues of mine. NCSY Summer is a subsidiary of NCSY, the National Council of Synagogue Youth, which is a youth organization who fits under the umbrella of the Orthodox Union. The Orthodox Union, the OU, you may know it from food items that you eat or buy, is our parent company. And we have an amazing array of over 19 programs for young men and women, grades 9 through 12, throughout the United States of America and Canada. We run programs to Europe. We run programs to Central America, Chesed missions, relief missions. We run programs in America itself. But of course, the, highlight of our programs are those in Israel, where we bring young men and women on several different types of programs, leadership programs, hiking programs, learning programs, for the kids to really be able to fall in love with the land of Israel, to fall in love with the people of Israel, the culture of Israel, the food of Israel, my personal favorite. And it's something which is, I think, inspiring to young men and women. And the beauty, I believe, of what NCSY Summer does is keeps the connection with the kids even after the summer is over by reintegrating them into youth groups across the United States of America and Canada. I will also say that we have about 3,000 young men and women that come with us each summer. And one of the other unique things about NCSY Summer is that we are not a catch-all for only Orthodox young men and women, but we are open to Reformed, conservative, as well as unaffiliated Jewish men and women, young men and women, who are interested in being inspired and growing religiously, which is something that we take very seriously. We have a public school program called TJJ, which will have close to 1,000 young men and women from across North America that come to Israel, that for many of them taste Shabbat for the first time, that begin to learn about mitzvot and God. It's an amazing, life-changing, and formative summer. It's something that we are very proud of. It's a summer of a lifetime for us, and certainly for those of the kids that come with us. So we're excited and happy. And if you have any questions, of course, you can you can either reach out to me at weinbergn@ncsy.org, or you can go on our summer program website, ncsysummer.com.
Wow, that I'm just really amazed by the array of programs that everyone has shared. And, as you have heard, there are programs in the US, there are programs in Israel, there are programs around the world. And I think, there are general programs, there are adventure programs, there are specialty programs. And just like camp, it's all about finding, sometimes people say to me, what's the best camp, and, or what's the best teen program? And, I say, let's sit down, let's talk with your teen, let's talk about your family, let's talk about your child. It's really about finding the right fit. That's what's going to be magical, when it's the right fit for your child, for your teen. There was a quote that one of our directors shared on our specialty camp chat, but I feel like it really applies here as well. And I love this quote. Find your people, find your soul. And I think that's really what happens on all of these experiences. And thank you to my colleagues that are here, for you and your teams, the year-round teams, the summer staff here, Israel, around the world, everybody that makes it happen. And we know, especially these days, it really takes a lot to make it happen. So just a huge thank you. I do want to mention, as I said before, that there are literally hundreds of Jewish teen summer programs. There's a couple I want to mention here where I know we've had teens from our community, especially, having great experiences. Young Judea's Tel Yehuda Teen Camp and Leadership Program, and Gesher Israel Program, NJY Camp, Cedar Lake Camp, and Teen Camp offer amazing electives and amazing travel, Israel and North America for the older kids. Alexander Muss High School in Israel Jewish National Fund has an Israel summer semester, has a unique program called Roots Israel, which is a service program, an entrepreneurial program this year, some really cool stuff. And on the domestic side, ETGAR is a very unique civil rights journey, advocacy focused teen tour. So those are just some examples. A website I want to give a shout out to is findyoursummer.org. That's hosted by the Jewish Education Project. It's a really, really great website for exploring Jewish teen summer programs. And we're going to pop that in the chat for you. So we're going to now take a couple minutes to address some of the kind of common questions that we all hear when we're talking with families about teen programs. I want to remind everybody, after this, a little later, we are going to have time for your questions. We would appreciate if you could pop those either in the chat or in the Q&A. We're going to take a look at them online, and then we'll try to cover as many of them as we can. But please start putting in some questions. So let's start off. This is something families are often wondering, is how structured are your programs? What is the mix between the pre-planned itinerary versus free time? Are there free weekends? For example, if people are traveling to Europe or to Israel, sometimes they have family or friends they want to try to visit. So would love to hear a little bit about that. By the way, in the interest of time, we won't go to everybody for every question. And obviously, if anybody has specific questions, we will send out the contact information. And you can also just go on the websites and contact the organizations that are here tonight. So Marnie, let's start with you about the mix between planned activities, free time.
Great. I like to call it balanced structure. So we like to balance our day between educational experiences, good old recreational activity, because it's summer and they want to be outside and moving, and then also that free time that I think every teen needs. So we really try and balance our days like that. I would say that the most real unstructured things that we do would be, when we give them a chance to go out and have lunch on their own. So we call it dinner on the streets. We give our teens money, and they really get to go off and explore a controlled area of wherever they're visiting, whether it's Europe or Israel. And they get to eat what they like. And I would say that's probably the most unstructured piece of what we do. We do have a free weekend in Israel. It is over a Shabbat. From Friday until early Sunday morning, where teens can go visit family, can go visit friends' families. I love this free Shabbat because it really gives teens an opportunity to go into communities in Israel, especially to really see how these different communities live. On our other programs, we do not have free time. We will have visiting days. So family or friends can come visit during this visiting time.
Great. Thanks, Marnie, for
Sure.
giving us some insights to that. Anat, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So our 4 weeks program is very active and the schedule is busy. We don't have a lot of free time along the routine weeks. We can say in the evening, there's most week like free time, but what we do have free time, and that's a lot, we have 2 open Shabbats, which they can go also either to their families or to their friends or to the families of the Israeli peer. We matching them, whoever does not have family in Israel. And then they have between Thursday p.m. until Sunday morning, they have a lot of free time to themselves.
Okay, great. Michelle, why don't you finish us off on this one on how you balance this out on USY trips?
Like the other groups, there is a schedule each day, sightseeing, educational pieces. There is hanging out time, and there is free time. We try to give free time a little bit each day. Again, it can be very challenging. We do often do a meal out, just like BBYO does, and we have a free weekend. For our summer travel trips in North America, when kids are in a certain city, they can visit relatives if it's prearranged, but it's not overnight trips. It's just day visits.
Okay, great. Good to hear kind of the array of things on that. Let's go next because we were thinking about covering this topic and there was already a question from one of our participants. So let's go to this one because I do think it's a question on a lot of people's minds. So I'm switching the order a little bit, just letting our panelists know. To what extent are the participants in your programs already connected with your organization, and what portion are new to the organization? And similarly, what portion of kids come with friends versus come on their own? These are questions I also hear a lot. So Alana, why don't you start off on that one in terms of the proportions of kids connected with NIFTY and the reform movement versus not, and coming with friends versus not?
Yeah, definitely. So our trips run a few different ways. We do offer trips for all of our URJ camps. So that includes Camp Harlem, which some of families from this area might be a part of. So in those cases, our camp trips, we do have those separate for teens that have just attended a URJ camp. We also partner with Habonim Dror on their camp trips. So those work a little bit differently. But our North American trips that I mentioned earlier that we offer are comprised of teens from all across North America. While many have participated in NIFTY or maybe another URJ program, that's definitely not a requirement. You do not need to have ever attended or been part of connected to the URJ to go on our program. And we have many teens that have not. So it's a great opportunity to just meet different teens from all across the country on an interesting program that relates to what you're interested in. And so for those trips, some teens come with maybe a friend or two, but knowing anyone else that they'll be traveling with for the summer. So it really is a mix depending on the program that you are looking to join.
Great. Noam.
So NCSY Summer works in very similar fashion. There's no prerequisite to belonging to any chapter or region of NCSY around North America. But it is something which we do try to re-engage with our participants to become part of chapters once they graduate out, so to speak. But again, it's about meeting young kids who are interested, or teens who are interested in doing similar things. And in terms of friends, so it's just typical, normative adolescent behavior is to get a couple of people that you're friends with and kind of decide on a program together. That's typically the way that it works. Rarely do we see, although it happens, where you'll have a lone wolf, some teen who says, like, you know what, I wanted to go on a program where I don't know anybody. It happens. It's not typical. It tends to be more atypical. The typical type of dynamic play out is where you're going to have small pockets of kids who are going to come together, and that's great also. But in terms of being part of the organization, you don't need to be part of the organization in order to reap the benefits of enjoying an NCSY summer program.
Okay, great. Marnie.
So on all of our BBYO passport trips, we are less than 40% members. So we really are a higher percentage of non-BBYO members on our passport trips. We do have member exclusive trips. Our Israel trip is called ILSI, and that is for members only. Very often, teens will join BBYO after they go on a passport trip. And very honestly, often that is to come to BBYO International Convention, which we just came back from, that has 3,200 teens, so that they can go there and basically have reunions with their friends. I will say that we do see a lot of teens traveling alone. I've seen more in the last couple of years where teens are really willing to go out and try something by themselves. We really encourage it. We're always happy to introduce people beforehand if they want to. And then, of course, there are some teens who come with a friend or two.
Okay, great. And Anat, want to just give a quick insight on that? Because I have a feeling it might be a little different on your end. You have to unmute.
We don't have like membership, Chetz V'Keshet is like one-time program, and then we have, of course, the alumni program that continue afterwards. We do have a lot of teens that coming by themselves. I can tell you, only today I spoke with 3 of them and convinced them to join, because they're by themselves only maybe in the first hour, and then we are working so hard about the team building and the group dynamic in the first 3 days. So everyone just forgot that they come by themselves. So whoever, has a dilemma if to join by himself, herself, of course, do that.
Okay, great. So moving to another topic, and by the way, just a reminder, everybody, if you have other questions, please pop them in the chat, type them in the chat or the Q&A. I see we've received a couple things. Oh, someone's beeping. Anat, if you could just go on mute, you're beeping a little bit. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, since we're talking about Jewish summer programs, how you celebrate Judaism and explore Judaism as part of your program. So Noam, why don't we start with you on that one?
Sure. So for us, it really depends on the program that you're going on. For example, we have an all-girls trip to Europe, to Spain, Gibraltar, and Morocco. Morocco's not Europe, but it's close enough. This summer, and they're going to be learning about Jewish strength, Jewish pride, through using the Inquisition as a springboard for discussion. That is more, I would say, in line with really appreciating our past, our history, our culture, who we are, and what made us who we are. Our programs like the one that I run, which is Jolt Israel, for example, which is a leadership program that works with young children that have siblings with chronic illnesses. A religious experience for us might be some sort of ebbing as Shabbat ebbs away, where we sit together in a circle and we sing, and I'll perhaps share some inspiring words sitting on a cliff overlooking Mitzvah Ramon. TJJ, an experience of religious growth might be where a young man puts on tefillin for the first time, where a young woman might open up a siddur for the first time and learn how to pray. So depending on the program, it's going to be very specific to the religious experience. But what I can say is that each one of our programs are specifically designed to create an experience and a space for young men and women to grow.
Wonderful. Michelle, tell us a little bit about the Jewish parts and spirit of USY.
On our Europe and Israel trips, I think that history and culture obviously play a big part of this. Shabbat is a big component. It's time, even on our cross-country trips, after 6 days on the road, you get to relax a little bit, enjoy Shabbat, do a little study, get to celebrate Shabbat. And it really is a very exciting time for people. It's a learning time. People may learn Zmirot and songs that they don't know. They teach each other. We've had participants who have been called to the Torah for the first time on a USY summer program and have shared that experience. We work in tefillot, in prayers, to be creative and to be engaging, so that no matter what background you come from, and many of our participants don't go beyond Hebrew school, that they are engaged and they are exploring their Judaism, with their staff, having discussions, and with their peers.
Great. Alana on Yalla Israel.
Yeah, so again, we are a program of the Reform movement. So everything we do on all of our programs is through a Reform lens. So we really try to incorporate and celebrate our sacred moments throughout the entire program. From Shabbat services, we celebrate Kabbalat Shabbat and Havdalah, to blessings at the Dead Sea or on top of Masada, joining together in song and always with full egalitarian inclusion. So during the program, our groups will come together and we really try to create an authentic, immersive Jewish community. But we also strive to learn about all religious affiliations within Israel, so including all sects of Judaism, Christianity, Muslim, Druze, and more. So it's really about instilling the Reformed Jewish values and how we want to live our lives every day.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot of really creative approaches. Okay. I am now going to, I will thank you for sharing all those great perspectives. I am going to give a bit of an overview of financial resources for Jewish teen summer programs, and we then will have a couple of minutes for a few other questions. So if anybody has other questions, please pop them in. We've received a couple so far that we'll aim to get to. So in terms of financial resources, in our local community, myself and my wonderful colleague, Jerry Russo, are resources that are here to guide families on not only finding the right program, but helping connect with financial resources as well. So as I mentioned, we're at the Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West. For those of you that are in other areas, please check with your local federation for some similar resources. So I'm going to run through a couple of items here, and we'll pop in the chat some websites to see more information. For programs in North America, we offer a One Happy Camper grant up to $1,000. Many other communities offer this grant as well. And a lot of people don't realize that the One Happy Camper grant is available towards, as I said, North American teen summer programs, which I know, looking at those of you here, include a bunch of BBYO trips and USY trips and others. So that's a non-need-based gift up to $1,000. We also have a special grant of a $500 gift for kids and teens from Russian-speaking Jewish families. we offer a Rocker Family Scholarship Program, which are need-based scholarships for participants up through age 15 for Israel experiences. This was mentioned earlier tonight, and definitely want to mention the Route 1 program, which is a national program that offers vouchers up to $3,000 for eligible participants in trips for Israel. Please check with Route 1 for details on that. Our federation offers, in addition, a Passport to Israel grant, which is up to $400. And we do have some needs-based assistance as well for Israel programs. In addition, you can see there's a lot here. For service-focused programs, we have a special grant called Destination Jewish Service Learning. Several of you mentioned tonight, and there's numerous other programs out there where a significant focus of the trip is on volunteering and service. And as you also heard from many of my colleagues, organizations and programs themselves often offer scholarships and grants. So I just encourage you to talk with the programs, talk with your federation. If you're connected with a synagogue, talk with your synagogue or rabbi. The community really wants to help enable as many kids and teens to have these opportunities as possible. So we have about 5 more minutes. So I'm going to go to 2 questions that we received. And if anyone has a final question, please pop it in there now. One of the questions is for programs that are in Israel or overseas or a flight, how do the flights work? Does the group travel together, and are the flights included in the program? Obviously, that's going to be very specific to different programs, but Marnie, you want to give us an example on this with BBYO, knowing that you go to a lot of different places?
Sure. So we require that everyone travel on our group flight. We do understand there are always special circumstances, but we do mostly require. We leave out of Newark or JFK, so everyone travels together as a group. It is a great way to get to know people before you get to your destination. Sometimes you feel like people have known each other forever when they land. And our flight prices are not included in our price. Flights are an additional cost, and we book those flights for everyone, obviously.
Okay, great. Alana, want to give some insights from your ends?
Yes, hi. So we also arrange group flights based on the program that you're registered for. Most of our flights leave out of New York. We do have a special West Coast trip if you are on the West Coast, and that leaves out of San Francisco. But again, we arrange all of the group travel, and the cost of flights is included in our cost of each program. So it is really an all-inclusive price with the round trip international airfare. And that also includes if you go to Poland, that is also included. So we share the flight details with you, so you know what flight, of course, your team will be on. But other than that, we handle all of those arrangements.
Great. This is a great example to show how details do differ across organizations and trips. So it's really important to, explore all of those details and talk with the programs directly. Anyone else want to comment on that before I move on to the other question that we received?
Yeah, I can go, please.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I can tell you that we do have a group flight. We offer a group flight, and it does not include in the fees of the program. But we are aware of how much people want to be flexible with their schedule and itinerary. And there's a lot of families that going to Israel in summer, and they have bar mitzvahs or different celebration and events. So if anyone wants to purchase the tickets by himself and meeting us on the first day of the trip on June 29, so he's welcome to do so. And whoever wants to join our CVK flight also leaves from JFK in New York, coming back and forth. So whatever it works better. Thanks.
Okay, great. So the other question we received, I'll make this our last one. I know we're aiming to stay on time for our 8:15 sign off. What is the electronics and phone policies? Do teens keep their phones through the trip, and how does that work? Noam, why don't we, I'm gonna go to other folks on this one, so why don't we go to Noam and Michelle?
It's also
Michelle.
program specific, and CSY Summer doesn't have a particular rule. On my program, Jolt Israel, I allow kids to have their phones on them whenever they want, except for Shabbat. We observe Shabbat without using electronics, and other than that, that's totally cool. I'm a big believer in my high school. I'm the principal of a high school. In my high school, the same thing. I never make a rule that I know kids are not going to be able to follow, because then I just get egg on my face. So I know kids are going to be using their phones. Everybody's addicted to phones. So we make a rule that the kids can use it whenever they want. However, there are programs where the types of kids that are coming on the program do not want to be involved in using their phones. They want to be able to escape from that. And those are like-minded kids, and those programs will put rules into place that kind of temper the amount of time that kids are allowed to use their phones. So really, it's very program specific, but we do it with, in Hebrew, it's seichel. We do it with a little bit of forethought.
Got it. Michelle, want to just share the
Yeah, no, we allow cell phones.
sites on that?
Europe and Israel, we encourage people to get SIM cards rather than depend on Wi-Fi. If kids are out and around during free time, they need to have a working cell phone with them and not just a phone that's using WhatsApp. That's one of our security protocols. And our cross-country trips, we allow them, we discourage them for using it on the buses. Sometimes we don't turn the Wi-Fi on the buses, or, because we want them to talk to each other and to look out the window and be in present. But like Noam, some of our programs, during program time, we ask them to be off their phones. And on Shabbat, we ask them to, give the phones a rest for a while.
Well, I will say for sure, it certainly sounds like there's so much to do. And I would imagine phones are great for taking pictures, but other than that, they're probably really busy soaking it all in. Any final, I want to thank you all so much. We really covered a lot, and I want to thank everybody who joined us. And or are watching us out there in cyberspace. We hope we have inspired you and enlightened you as to some of the great opportunities there are for teens out there. Any final thoughts from anybody as we wrap up that you want to share? Feel free to come off mute if anybody wants to just share a final thought.
Just thank you for bringing this group together and letting us share about our amazing Israel programs.
And really, how thankful am I to know that there are these many experiences out there for teens, Jewish experiences for teens today. It's really amazing.
Well, thank you all again for joining, and thank you all for what you offer. And wishing everybody a great night. Thanks, Summer. There's only about, I counted today, only 108 days till camp season. So time to plan, everybody. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.